morning, everyone. Somos el barco, somos el mar. Navego en ti, navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea. I sail in you, you sail in me. The stream sings it to the river sings it to the sea sings it to the boat that carries you and me. Somos el barco, somos el mar. Navego en ti, navegas en mí. What did he say? We are the boat, we are the sea. I sail in you, you sail in me. So with our hopes we set the sails to face the winds once more, and with our hearts we chart the waters never sailed before. Somos el barco, somos el mar. Navego en ti, navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea. I sail in you, you sail in me. I sail in you, you sail in me. Oh, thank you.
What a wonderful
We
prelude.
can do that, I think. Some churches pass laws about that, but I think that
We
applies
clap.
to spiritual.
We clap a lot. Thank you, Jim Scott. Welcome. Oh, I got to start all over. Good morning. We must say good morning. Welcome to First Parish Church in Billerica, a Unitarian Universalist welcoming congregation. Whoever you are and wherever you are on life's journey, you're welcome here this morning. And please stay after the service for coffee and conversation. My name's Brita. I'll be the worship assistant for today's service. And our worship leader, as you just heard, is a wonderful musician. He's the renowned UU musician and activist, Jim Scott.
Thank you.
He's just wonderful. His songs include the much-loved hymn, Gather the Spirit, and many other wonderful songs, some of which are in our hymnals. He is a composer, guitarist, and singer, and former member of the Paul Winter Consort. He has recorded many albums of original music and has toured around the world, making music for a more just, peaceful, and sustainable world. And he's led services before with us, and we are just so happy to have him back with us this morning. I want to just acknowledge to begin with that First Parish was built on the unceded land of the Pawtucket and Massachusetts people. We acknowledge the connection that they have continued to maintain with the land here in this place that we call Billerica. And we recognize the hardships they have endured and commit ourselves to caring for the land and fostering good relationships with our Indigenous neighbors. Okay, are there any announcements? We'll bring you the mic.
Hi, I'm Barbara. So slowly getting my thoughts together here. The first one I had was the Halloween potluck and the Samhain pagan celebration. So the potluck starts it's on the 30th. It starts at 6:30, right? Starts at 6:30, I think. 5:30 gathering and setup, and 6 o'clock the potluck starts. For the potluck, there is a Google Doc that has a sign up, and I'll also bring a sheet downstairs for people to sign up to bring stuff for the potluck. The sheet is on the wall. It has been for 2 weeks. There's a sheet on the wall. Okay, perfect. And then I will put the two things together, or I'll add the stuff from the Google Doc to the sheet downstairs so that everybody can see what we're doing. Okay, so that's the first part, is the potluck, and then at 7:30 there's a Samhain ritual. Following that, I think that Trek is leading that. And so come join us, and I think you can wear costumes if you want, certainly for the whole thing. Wear costumes if you wish. And then the other thing I wanted to say was the meeting on the 27th. I don't see it here. There is a meeting on the 27th for people who are, we are meeting with the UU pagan group to
6:50.
talk cups. Yes, we're meeting with cups on the 27th to put together a covenant for people who are interested in joining that meeting. And that's all I can think of right now.
Then here is our chalice.
We have a reading for you. I'll talk, and Britta will handle the sacred matches. As we light our chalice, the chalice is our symbol of our free faith, our free search for faith, our free lack of faith, as some have put it, and it's symbolic of all kinds of different things. For me today, it's the symbol of the earth as a vessel with a fire in its heart. The earth has this fire as hot as the sun, we're told, inside. So where's the flames on the outside? We must be them. We are that energy force of earth burning. Who will speak for our ancestors? What physician do we have in our midst to trust with surgery on our Mother Earth? What politician, anesthetist, how did I sound? What politician, anesthetist, will we trust to control the valves attached to her veins? Who will understand that our relatives in delicate balance, keeping us alive, are not weighed against efficiency? Who shall we trust to decide what is cost effective when lives hang in the balance? Will it be the one with the vehicle for escape waiting nearby, who converses in terms of multiple use, acceptable risk, economy versus preservation? Who will defend the water purifying beings in oceans, rivers, and wetlands? Someone who sees borders between countries? Who will defend the diversity of all species? The one who exhorts property rights? The one who won't open the doors of the United Nations to indigenous peoples? The one who is saved? Who will speak for our ancestors? Who will listen for their echoes of their footsteps in the ocean waves and their tears in the rain? Who will speak for our Mother Earth? Who will hear her breath on the wind, her pulse in the night and day, and understand her needs? It's been my delight for decades now to sing this song that's kind of my entree to Unitarian Universalists everywhere. I wrote this song just before Thanksgiving, right about now, 30 years ago, more than, and in a desperate attempt to get something in the gray hymn book that was going to come out. And I was going to play for the intergenerational, no, that's not what I mean, interfaith service in Eugene, Oregon, where I lived in, on the Wednesday night before Thanksgiving. I thought of it as a Thanksgiving song I'm glad nobody else thinks that, so we can sing it any time of year. Gather the Spirit, harvest the power, our separate fires will kindle one flame. Witness the mystery of this hour, our trials in this life appear all the same. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then, gather in hope, compassion and strength, gather to celebrate once again. Gather the Spirit of heart and mind, seeds for the sowing are laid in store, nurtured in love and conscience refined, with body and spirit united once more. Gather in peace, gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy, gather in sympathy now and then, gather in hope, gather in hope, compassion and strength, gather to celebrate once again. Gather the Spirit, growing in all, drawn by the moon and fed by the sun, winter to spring and summer to fall, the chorus of life resounding as one. Gather in peace, gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy, gather in sympathy now and then, gather in hope, compassion and strength, gather to celebrate once again.
That's was so wonderful to hear that played, by the person who wrote it. We do ask, by the way, if you're singing in the sanctuary, to please wear a mask. And if people want to follow along and say our affirmation of faith found in your order of service now. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other and with God.
I don't need these for that.
On the ground level, turtles and leopards and snakes live in the shelter the rainforest makes. The ground is so soft and the air is so clear, with 300 inches inches of rain every year. Oh, let the rain feed the thirsty ground. Sing me the song of life you sing, such a beautiful sound. Oh, let the rain feed the thirsty ground. Sing me the song of life you sing, such a beautiful sound. And down in the ground, the worms and the ants nurture the roots of the flowering plants. And up in the canopy, life is a breeze. Orangutans swing from the limbs of the trees. Oh, let the rain feed the thirsty ground. Sing me the song of life you sing, such a beautiful sound. Oh, let the rain feed the thirsty ground. Sing me the song of life you sing, such a beautiful sound. And high up above, where the toucans fly, emergent treetops reach into the sky. There's more kinds of plants than anyone knows. Look out, there's a sloth hanging by her 3 toes. Oh, let the rain feed the thirsty ground. Sing me the song of life you sing, such a beautiful sound. Oh, let the rain feed the thirsty ground. Sing me the song of life you sing, such a beautiful sound. There's the understory, the understory, the understory, the understory. There's the ground level story, on the ground level story, the ground level story, on the ground level story, the ground level canopy, canopy, emergence canopy, emergence canopy, emergence canopy, emergent canopy. Oh, let the rain feed the thirsty ground. Sing me the song of life you sing, such a beautiful sound. Oh, let the rain feed the thirsty ground. Sing me the song of life you sing, such a beautiful sound. Rain come down, rain come down, rain come down, rain come down.
The water, the air, the disappearing divergence of species, the climate change that the earth is running a fever, and as we know it, all of those things affect each other. And though climate change has swept in and taken the headlines these days, there are 3 times as many people on the earth as when I was born, and 1/4 of the insects. This is not sustainable. So we have more to talk about. But let's take in this moment in our sanctuary. One of my favorite things, until churches get so big that we're institutionalizing this whole process, the sharing of our stories, our life passages, our what do we call it? Milestones and things. We call it joys and concerns, or joys and sorrows. What church am I in? It's joys and concerns in this independent thinking church. I believe, Britta, I have a little chorus to sing you, and we'll put this at the beginning and the end. and you can help once you see it. And then Britta will start with folks online. Passage of life is a gateway to the heart. We are one in joy and sorrow, and the music of our learning is danced in love and harmony with each day of Earth's journey. I thought I would sing you this song. It's not what it says in the program. I wrote this not too long ago. The Canada geese were flying over, and something about that, looking down at us from up there, just brought back something. And I'll try not to talk too much, but John de Wolfert was an amazing UU minister quite some decades back. This goes. He was a Baptist, a Southern Baptist minister who then kind of came to Universalism and suddenly swung, gave up a lot of what he found repressive and then became a UU minister. I met him in Jacksonville the first time with a peace march, and we were just passing through. Marching from the border of Georgia down to Cape Canaveral, where they were testing weapons of war and nuclear missiles. Well, they weren't nuclear, but they're the missiles that are going to carry that. But they're going to shoot off these things 20 times into the ocean, and a lot of people thought this was absurd. I did. So here we are camping out, and we went to the Unitarian Church that morning. And the minister said he said, I was going to say something else, but these peace marchers, and I can't remember it all, and I can't imitate his accent where he whistles his S's and everything, from Mississippi. But he said, these peace marchers, they've seen the third dimension. Now, I know down here on the ground, we got 3 dimensions, but we kind of think we only have 2. You go this way and that way, and there's a wall, and you can't see over it, and you can't. And so he went on, and apparently he's famous. He was famous for this, that you have no idea where is this guy going with this story until it all wraps up. He says, well, but I went up in a hot air balloon, and I got to look down. Well, and now over in the Everglades there are these glass bottom boats, and you can think you're on top of the water, but then you look down, and so this third dimension. So my song is called The Third Dimension, which strikes people, no, I'm not talking about 4th and 5th dimension, just the ordinary 3 that we have, not science fiction. I knew enough not to call it wild geese, but here's my song. Soaring beyond doubt over Earth's solemn gravity, in noisy migration, still they long for their rest. Some kiss their wings as they carve the sky eternal, looking to the night when they'll sleep in their nest. Voyagers heed signs written on the wide horizon. From their third dimension, find the secrets they seek. Quest for nobility, sustenance, serenity, beckons to the brave as it comforts the meek. So may we see over barriers and borderlines a bond of all beings over the earth, land, and sea, dreaming the world where each life is truly valued, rendering a justice that restores humanity. Spirit of the earth, spirit of the never-ending, from the third dimension, seeing straight to the heart. Spirit moving always just beyond our understanding. In the greater dance, may we each play our part. Spirit of the earth, spirit of the never-ending, from the third dimension, seeing straight to the heart. Spirit moving always just beyond our understanding. In the greater dance, may we each play our part. Thank you. I've traveled around since I got out of high school and went to Eastman School of Music. We played in bands that traveled all over New York State and all, and then it escalated. I was in the Army band in Washington, D.C., the Army Jazz Ambassadors big band, and we toured the country, and that's what I did for a while. And I've been on the road a lot ever since. People think I'm just always on the road. I'm not. I stay home too. And maybe I could mention, it's almost 2 decades ago, I got married to and married into a special needs son. And then we had a daughter, and I kind of put away my career a little bit. I'm proud. I'm not regretting it at all. I'm proud that I raised this daughter who just graduated from high school. Louisa is my joy. And Louise, if you hear this, sorry, I didn't mean to embarrass you. And I think I've been to more UU churches than anybody. I've been to, loose count is well over 700, and even former president or other folks have said, people who were counting. I wasn't counting until till I found there was some kind of competition. Anyway, in my travels, I stay with people often, and I stayed with the tenured professor of economics at a big state university in the Midwest. I won't be any more specific than that. And we had this conversation, and I'm talking about what I'm going to talk about the next morning in the service. And boy, he went from being this gentle man to being this, I don't know, what's the word, trying to declaring his territory or something. How dare I talk about economics or something? You don't know anything. I'm the tenured professor and blah, blah, blah. And he's sitting back in his chair. And he said a number of times, now I have a thing I'm going to read to you, but I just have to introduce it. See, I write these things and I have words left over. He said several times, it's simple. It's like water runs downhill, and blah, 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 such and such. And you just don't understand, you poet, you left wing something. And finally, I don't know where this came from, but I had the words to say, wait a minute, water doesn't just run downhill. You're only looking at a piece of it. Somehow it gets up to the clouds. Somehow all these other things happen. With falls with gravity and underground and up and down. You're only looking at a piece of the pie, and you think the earth waits on you. Oh, it's a figure of speech, he says. And I wrote this overnight, and I read it the next morning in the service. I apologized later. It's always, better to do that than have asked permission. So Here it is. Economics is neutral, he said, sure of his words. Economics is not neutral. Imposing a system of economics on a woman's body is not neutral. Imposing a system of economics on the body of Mother Earth and her cycles is not neutral. It's one of the ends of the scale, a rock, a lead weight, an anchor, a ball and chain, a sledgehammer. It has a critical mass in an equation. It has inertia of rest and of motion. It needs something to balance it. Ethics, spirituality, direction, conscience, economics, the thing, the invention, for all its bloated weight, doesn't even rate to be balanced against the natural world as half of the scale, as in a seesaw. It's no more than an arm of at least an X or a star or an asterisk or infinitely cantilevered contraption with a center point of balance that is spirit, health, Mother Nature, God, or something. When economics acts, threatens, or seduces, it should be swarmed upon by all the other arms of the living balance consensus. Where do you think you're going? They would loom. Well, I only do one service at a time so people can fire me at coffee hour, you know, so that's the way that works. As we're celebrating today, our Mother Earth, our life support system, can I say it that way? This Mother Earth, let's take a moment to celebrate and contribute to this more immediate life support system, the work of this church community. That means take the offering. And while you're practicing detachment, I will sing you this song. Plant more than you harvest, sun and water, earth and seeds. Plant more than you harvest, give the earth all that it needs. Plant more than you harvest, give the earth all that it needs. The earth all that it needs. Did you notice that repetition in there? I sing about 4 lines. That was the chorus, but the verses fit the same format, sort of. I sing about 4 lines, and you sing whatever I sing for the 3rd and 4th lines. You sing it back to me with a different melody, ha ha ha. And I feel the verse coming on now. Clear the meadows and the highways, but plant stout trees between. Let the forest hold the hillsides, cover the earth with green. Let the forest hold the hillsides, cover the earth with green, cover the earth with green. Plant more than you harvest, sun and water, earth and seeds. Plant more than you harvest, give the earth all that it needs. Plant more than you harvest, give the earth all that it needs. The earth all that it needs. Some seeds fall by the wayside, but some will make it through. On the water or wind or a loving hand, the cycle starts anew. On the water or wind or a loving hand, the cycle starts anew. The cycle starts anew. Plant more than you harvest. Plant more than you harvest, sun and water, earth and seeds. Plant more than you harvest, Well, I need to put on these glasses for this small print. I'm not going to read all of this. I feel like our time is getting away from us. So I'll try to give you the Utney Reader version of the Reader's Digest version here. I looked this up. There's a hair on my glasses. What's going on? Okay. I looked this up. The radius of this Earth, this globe, is 4,000 miles. If you got in your car and drove 60 miles an hour, it would take about 60-something hours, and you'd be in the center of the Earth. If you could do that, the circumference of the Earth, we all learned it in school, I bet, it's 25,000 miles. Now, I went on a trip with my daughter the summer before COVID, and we went over 17,000 miles over the 3 months. And I have to tell you, in a rental car. See, you rent the car and then you give it back, and they don't say, well, Mr. Scott, you drove this a long way, because the next person they'll rent it to will drive it 5 miles probably. But I discovered that's a way to not burn your car out on the road. Just thought you'd like to know that. So 17,000 miles, that's a good deal of the way around this Earth. This is a pretty small planet. Compared to the universe. A mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam, said Carl Sagan, looking at a picture of the Earth in space. Rebecca Solnit wrote in Harper's Magazine, I love a wonderful writer, Googled her. She wrote about the Earth, the world after World War II. And so this is, when I was born. The great cities of the Earth were in ruins, many great cities. And yet the jungles, the rainforests, the so-called wild places were still at that point relatively unscathed by, or not comparably, unscathed by these 2 world wars for humans. But in my lifetime, in 70 years, there are now 3, as I said, there are 3 times as many people on this Earth as there were. And the war on the Earth is like nothing we've ever experienced before. Some other great extinctions took a long time. This one has taken a very short time. We are headed for, and scientists call it the 6th great extinction of all time. Okay, maybe not extinguishing everything. No extinction extinguished every bit of life on the Earth, but the dinosaurs went when the 5th great extinction, this asteroid hit the Earth. It killed a lot of things really quickly, but it was over the next 100,000 years, pretty short time, that the dinosaurs finally completely disappeared and all. So here in a century, are we making life unsustainable on this Earth? What have we done? I think I'm going to quit reading this. I had a whole list of things that's going to depress you. Okay, just a little bit. And then I'm going to stop. Because, I realize I'm preaching to the convicted. You've all heard this before. Yeah, okay. But I just think it's important that somebody get up and remind us about this, because we have an election coming in about a little more than 2 weeks that is going to determine the fate of the Earth. It's going to determine the fate of democracy in this country, but the leadership, we have some very ignorant people running our country in places. We've got to get smart about this. If we think we're so smart and we have values, how much can you do in the next 2 weeks? I just wrote a Get Out the Vote song. I'm going to sing a little bit of it at the end of this. I have to tell you, it's called The World Needs Your Voice. And if you want to help make it go viral, it's on my YouTube page. Okay, I interrupted myself. Here's this microplastic. Tiny shreds are more like a cloud these days, microscopic in the entire ocean, in the entire water supply of the earth. It's more like smog than a patch, this patch of, that we know, this great garbage patch. Garbage, not a good word for it, because garbage could be decomposable in a good way, perhaps. This great Pacific garbage patch of plastic. Oh, wait, that one's bigger than India, but we found another one bigger than Texas. Life cannot go on this way. It cannot go on this way. We have strontium-90 in our bodies and DDT. The human body now has PCBs, polyfluorinated bisphenol, from coolants and lots of things. You get it through your fingers every time you handle carbonless copies, receipts. Antimony is in batteries and flame-proofing paints. BPA, bisphenol, with the best funded lying campaign out there, obscuring the cancer and reproductive dangers there are. Formaldehyde, heavy metals, PBDEs, Teflon still. This stuff is killing us. It's killing us. More danger to us, say scientists, than terrorists and invading armies. Is this what we really wanted? How will we reach the world with this enlightenment? I'm always wondering, what can I say in 1 hour that will change our lives and make me change too, because, you know, I'm working on it. There's so many papers, so little time. Let's see, where another recent song, if I might, that maybe sums it up better than any large white male talking for a long time. I've wished for the home that I could call my own, a place to be secure in the warmth of family, a place for love to grow, a place that I could know would hold fast as a refuge from the cruel winds that blow, from the cruel winds that blow. Everlasting home, turning toward the sun, a good day's work, a good night's rest. Everlasting home, everlasting home. I've put my heart into you, evergreen, ever new, everlasting home. I've worked to have a home that is safe for all who dwell there, a place of peace, equality, and elegant simplicity, a place of understanding with all one would need to live in dignity. Door open to all who come in love, just as it welcomes me, just as it welcomes me. Everlasting home, turning toward the sun, a good day's work, a good night's rest. Everlasting home, everlasting home. I've put my heart into you, evergreen, ever new, everlasting home. If this earth is our home, our sanctuary, there's a threat and we must name it, not to poison or destroy, for we all own it, not for sale, we claim it. When I'm done with this home, it will harbor sons and daughters who make a peace across the wide lands, rolling waters, family of all faiths, all colors, and all paths to the spirit, with the music of all beings. If I listen, I can hear it. If I listen, I can hear everlasting home, turning toward the sun. A good day's work, a good night's rest, everlasting home, everlasting home. I've put my heart into you, evergreen, ever new, everlasting home. What was in those pages that you should be glad I didn't read to you, was setting up that song, saying, well, you know, I've been hoping I could realize the American dream and I could actually buy a house and all that, and, you know, my sanctuary, my place. But I went to Nicaragua back in the 80s, just after their revolution, and the remnants of the oligarchy, where the 15% of the country that had education, healthcare, everything else like that, and almost 85% of the country was functionally illiterate in 1983, 84. They launched an education campaign that won awards, international awards, and they launched a healthcare campaign too, because they had the highest infant mortality rate in the hemisphere, and won awards from international groups for this incredible work. And we had a president at the time that wanted to lead an insurgency and invented a fictitious army that went there to fight. And can I just say, Ronald Reagan called them the freedom fighters. If you want to do any research about that, you'll find what fiction that was. And that's our work, I'm afraid, sometimes in this world. We got to take a hard look at that. And there's where that election is coming in again. Talking to people in Massachusetts, it's not as critical as so many other places in this country. And if there's anything you can do, write letters or things like that, make phone calls in other places where those races are going to determine our survival, if you ask me. Thank you for doing that. So I guess I made the point. Here's my home. But then those oligarchs, they're living behind barbed wire, gun turrets and armed guards for the mansions of the wealthy. And they thought that was fine. Unfortunately, they sent their kids to Stanford and Harvard and stuff, and the kids came back and led a revolution. So, you know, that's the way that works. I've digressed. Thank you for listening. And thank you for being here today. We extinguish our chalice, and we have yet another song. We extinguish our chalice, and our service comes to, no, I said it wrong. Our gathering may come to an end, and the service begins. This flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. This we in our hearts until we are together again. My wish for you, as now we part, is for greater peace to fill your heart with dreams as vast as starry space. So hurt and anger know no place. May truth be shared and wounds be healed, and joy for living be revealed. Through every fate and circumstance, may hope lead weary steps to dance, and may your life be as a song, resounding with the dawn, to sing awake the light, then softly serenade the stars, ever dancing circles in the night. may your life be as a song, resounding with the dawn, resounding with the dawn, to sing awake the light, then softly serenade the stars, ever dancing circles in the night. And may your life be as a song, resounding with the dawn, to sing awake the light, then softly serenade the stars, ever dancing circles in the night, ever dancing circles in the night, ever dancing circles in the night. When Wisdom was a striking young man, he met a beautiful woman named Love. Now, I'm not really sure who was the man and who was the woman. Maybe they were the same sex. I'd like to keep you, said Wisdom. You can't own me, said Love, but I love you anyway. What would it cost to know you'd always be there? Asked Wisdom. Don't ask such questions, said Love. Just look at the stars. Why? Wisdom pondered. Are they telling us something? Oh, chill out, chided Love. Which made Wisdom happy in a funny sort of way. And so it was that Wisdom fell in love with Love, and thus became truly wise.